The life of a video game reviewer has always intrigued me. I mean, I didn't decide to go on a sleep schedule that puts the Ubermans to shame just for the sake of fun and games. It's all the whores, the money, and the fast cars that will never get to ride, spend, or ride respectively because they're too busy sitting at home playing video games and yelling about them online with sock puppets. But one thing I'll never understand is the complaints about the season for games that's drier than a future sex partner's vagina after they tell them of their profession. The only thing of mine getting drier is my wallet, which no, now that you ask, it doesn't do me any favors with the whole moistening the labial folds of my future sex partners, admittedly. Enter this week's game, Hitman, a game that I picked off as the arbitrary thing the sock puppets will get cross about, mainly because it was 50% off on the PSN store and I enjoyed Absolution when that came out. And if it's not too terribly inconvenient of me to ask, please do keep the 50% in mind as we go through this review, because the price wasn't the only thing that got slashed in half for this sequel. For one, the title was 2, despite not being a reboot and following closely right after the events of Absolution. Although that's all I'm willing to say for certain about the story. See, this is what happens when we didn't stop games from colonizing their names and reboots from ditching their filial piety. Now their bastard children are following in their footsteps wearing the same shoes that they did despite being 5 sizes too small. The story seems to have taken a backseat in fear of everyone forgetting the events of the previous episode by the time the next one comes out. So instead, it tries to tell a story about a cabal controlling the world through large corporations. You're a Halloween costume side window mannequin right down to the barcode on the back of your head and blah 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 before dropping you to the next, I hesitate to use the word Sandbox, to perform your 2 assassination targets who for some reason are in such close proximity to one another before you nick their helicopter and fly off into the bloody sunset. It's more disjointed than a quadriplegic NASCAR collision tester. Sorry, calm now. The usual problem with Hitman games is the illusion of complete freedom when no such thing exists. Because if the designer didn't think of a solution, then there's no way to implement it. So you can't say, pour lead base paint or laxatives into the target's coffee over the course of several months so he'll have a disabled child, which will ruin his relationship as the stress of having to take care of such a baby chips away at his sanity, driving into financial ruin due to a debilitating bout of depression, and ends up committing suicide, finding no way forward in his life without the love of his life and $1 million yacht. Or shitting himself uncontrollably until he dies of dehydration, respectively. This is the same problem that Metal Gear Solid 5 had with its sandboxes too, in that it doesn't allow more options for completing an objective so much as it gives you 20 different solutions to a simple problem that a coin toss to the left and kick to the knee may solve. I mean, Occam's razor, people, and as far as I'm concerned, I beat the game perfectly. Though I can almost see the tears welling up on some level designer's face at Squeenix headquarters when he realizes how worthless his entire job is. In one mission, for an example, I was instructed to assassinate a power couple during a fashion show. So I dressed as one of the models that conveniently looked like me and slipped the wife's cyanide in her victory toast, which I found right there on the table next to the champagne bottle. Blimey, I exclaimed, and I thought this game was supposed to be hard and clever. But then my assassination attempt on the husband was cleverly foiled by me not having a crowbar to drop a giant fuck off sign atop his ass during a speech which was nowhere to be found near where I needed it to be. Ah, I sighed in irritation, so much for consistent gameplay. So after quick loading 20 times, I took out my silenced pistol, shot his ass from a balcony 50 feet away, and walked out of the building. Why the hell did you turn it into a sandbox with only 6 bumble-cunting missions if you won't even bother to make it organic? I pull a fire alarm and then everyone contemplates flocking over towards it, but they can't be bothered despite a very large, bold man dressed in business casual on a Caribbean cruise standing right next to it with a semi-auto rifle. The game at least got rid of the point system, ticking down in the corner of the screen at your every incompetence like a nagging future mother-in-law trying to find a reason not to marry you to her perfect buck-toothed cross-eyed hunchback daughter. It is still present, mind you, but to go back to my previous analogy, the mother-in-law waits you at the doorstep of the house, dictating if you get to kiss her daughter before she goes in, rather than hanging over your shoulder the entire date, bitching about how you used a salad fork for eating soup. For all she knows, you can fuck right there on a dinner table, but you get some disapproving looks at the doorstep. Most disappointingly is that you can no longer take the homicidal route when you've hit the quick load one too many times and you're just wanting to exercise some petty revenge over the mortals for getting in the way of your fun gameplay by kneeing them in the bollocks and then whipping around the map to the nearest exit. Because as soon as you detect it, the guards use excessive force not seen since the Ferguson's police one-man firing squad approach to detaining suspects. I might be missing half the fun here since the game is trying to shove the whole opportunity system down my throat this entire time. How it works is, you activate an objective, then the game holds your hand, skipping gaily around the map, pointing at a very specific outfit. Some pufferfish that someone pointed out loudly 2 seconds ago was poisonous and yet one of the assassination targets desperately wanted. Then it taught me how to fillet the fish, put a little slice into the sushi along with a perfect wine and sauce pairing, and told me to sit down and watch its magnificent design. So on the 4th mission, I followed its instructions to the T and ended up with an overall score of 48,000. Ka-ching, thought I. Just call me McPipes, Slit-Throat McPipes. The game then told me, congratulations, just call you Slit-Throat McFuckPipes in the middle of a cutscene, after which it gave me an overall score of 1 out of 5. Ah, I say how you want to play this game. How about this for a score then? Fuck you! I only finished the story mode at, mind you again, 6 missions because I felt that was the only way for me to get my money's worth. If you want to feel like an unflappable bald retard in a chicken mask, get a job at a fast food chain or buy Blood Money. It had better everything. Or if glistening lighting engines is more your thing, then fuck you too!